only real press outing that we're having for the record. We're just not working this thing. So I'm glad that people responded the way they have. It's been great.
Why Plymouth Meeting?
That's beyond me. That's beyond me. I don't know. Good fucking rock.
Guys, Matt Sneed from PST. I know the CD's been out for a week now. Obviously, it's a very experimental CD. What's the kind of vibe you're getting from the public? Are they liking it, disliking it?
My mom likes it. That's about as much public as I get.
I don't know. I'm not paying
It's so new.
Yeah.
We love it. You know, the great thing is, for us, it's very, very flattering, even from a songwriting standpoint, to be able to take these songs that were written years ago and actually they still have a life in a very, very different realm of what was done. You know, they're very, very diverse. So we're really happy with the record. You know, the comments that I'm getting back from people that they're really, really digging it, and after they listen to it 4 or 5 times,
Right.
this becomes the version.
Yeah,
Like, that's
absolutely.
kind of like where we're at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like after you listen to this record 4 or 5 times,
Right.
it is left,
Yeah.
but it feels right.
Sally Ann Mosley with Channel 6, question for you about Philadelphia Soul. Part of the reason the name of the band came about is, or the name of the sports team, I should say. Where did it get its name?
We're going to call the football team Bon Jovi, too.
Yeah, that was good.
Philadelphia Soul is a name that is obviously a part of Philly. The Philly sound, the Gamble and Huff sound, is internationally known. And I, in naming the team, fought hard for that name because it was unique. And it's something that's associated with a great city. It's something that if you're not a fan of football or even Bon Jovi or even rock and roll music, everybody claims, even if they don't, to have soul. See, so this is something that I could take around the world and yet with the Philadelphia name on top of it, make the city prouder.
Now, some of the beneficiaries of Philadelphia Soul, Juvenile Diabetes Foundation, how come juvenile diabetes?
Well, there's going to be a number of community outreach programs that the Soul are really going to be a part of so that we make our identity known. All the players, you probably have met 5 of them that we have here today. I want guys that are players on the field, but more importantly off the field. And our community outreach program is going to be second to none in this town. So the Diabetes Foundation is just one of the many that we announced and really giving our time and monies to.
What's more challenging, putting together a football team or a CD?
God tell you, I've never put so much work into anything in my whole life. You know, this football team is so time-consuming and so much fun. You know, everybody's asking if I'm getting a place in Philly, but I'm a commuter at this point. And, I'm spending a lot of time in town, and the town's embracing it. That's why it's so much fun. So I think we're going to bring a real quality product to the town, and something that people will continue to embrace.
John, the Enquirer did a piece on you saying how much of a hands-on owner you are becoming. What are you learning in this process?
How to beg, how to borrow, and then I rely on these guys to steal. Whatever it takes, you know. This is completely different from anything any of us have ever done. Even though we're diverse as a band and we do plays and movies and paintings and solo works, it still is all part of the arts. When you're creating a business from scratch, a sports franchise in a sports crazy town, we are novices. You know, my partner Craig Spencer and I are absolutely novices, but we're very hands-on, and the community's embracing it because we're honest. We tell people, we don't know this, show us the way. You know, and if you're honest with people, they'll give you the benefit of the doubt until you lose. This is Philadelphia, it's tough.
John, you named the football team pretty easily, but we figured you might have a little bit more trouble naming the 4th child. So I wanted to give you this book.
Thank you.
It's 40,001 baby names. and maybe it would help you out.
What's the one?
If go through.
Well, I just opened it up and pointed to the first one, and the name is Jovi. Jovi Bon Jovi. What do you think?
That's hilarious.
That's grounds for divorce right there. Jovi Bon Jovi.
Does the word no meaning?
Well, thank you for this. You know, after 3, it's not easy to find another name that works.
Started running out of ideas a little bit.
Yeah, it's not easy. But thanks, it's very nice.
Hey, this question is for the rest of the band members. Hi, I'm Jessica Rose at WB17. How much involvement do you guys have with the band or with the Arena Football League? Anything at all, or is there anything that
Totally
you
support John.
do you have stakes in it as well, financially, or
Richie has a
Yeah, I'm
small part.
a partial owner.
okay? And Brian then?
No,
Okay.
I just steal stuff.
Okay, that
I'm
works.
just in it for the free sweat.
So in an interview last week, you said that the band then will take a back seat while you get this off the ground. How did the rest of you guys feel about that?
In the backseat?
It's not a terrible thing to do.
It makes it
You got a
sound
TV
as though
in the
I'm
back and
putting
you
the
get-
band off. That's not the case. What happens in rock and roll as opposed to country music, per se, is you tour cyclically. And our previous tour just concluded August the 8th. And with this greatest hits record, we don't tour greatest hits records. So it sounds like I'm putting it off, but I'm not. It's just, this is what the kind of things you do for a greatest hits record. And Richie and I have to write another studio album.
But will that wait?
I think, yes, it's waiting, but it's waiting because we need to clear our minds. You know, we just got done with a tour, like I said, 2-3 months ago now. You have to find subject matter.
You have hundreds of fans out there. I'd probably say by the time 2 o'clock hits, probably 1,000. Will you get a chance to see them all today?
From a
And for
distance.
those that you don't,
Do not feed the animals.
We signed a lot of things to hand out. And like I said, it's been so many years since we've even considered an in-store appearance. We're flattered that they still come out. But I don't know if we'll shake every hand. We'll do as many as we can until the police say that's enough.
Hey John, Angie from QNFU in Philly, how you doing? We understand that the Electric Factory is having the cheerleading tryouts for the Soul coming up. I want to know if you're going to be a part of that. Especially our female listeners would like to know if all you guys are
Perks
judging.
of the job.
And I think I'll be the only one there, but
But you will be there.
I'll be there. I'll be there at the Borgata and at Electric Factory. And truth be told, is I've had nothing to do with picking players, but the cheerleaders are going to be very.
Hands on?
Yeah, literally, yeah. Those with a pole go to the left. Those who don't know the pole go to the right.
John, do you guys remember your last in-store appearance? I mean, how long ago was that?
Unless you guys can correct me, I remember that time in the Carolinas with that car
long time
wreck.
ago.
With Gator
Yeah, did definitely.
saving our.
The car wreck?
We were, during the height of Slippery, we were still doing in-stores, and this is truly the last one I remember. And our bus driver at the time was in the front seat of the limo acting as a security guard, and these people stopped dead in front of us on a major thoroughfare, and trying to get our attention. They did. He had to grab the wheel from the passenger side, kick the guy, and put his foot off the gas. Shook us out the way. There was a major car wreck, and we opted at that time to stop doing in-store appearances.
I love these stories. See,
I
were there.
I have a question for Richie, kind of unrelated, but I heard that your and Heather's house was damaged in the fires in California. Is
No,
that
it
true?
came very close. It came very close. We have a ski cabin up in the mountains up in Lake Arrowhead, and we actually got surrounded by fire, but it didn't get us, thank God. So, thanks for asking.
Okay, good.
A question for Tico and for David. In terms of the new album, This Left Feels Right, your participation in it, how did it differ, and what was it like, your contribution? Did you enjoy this process as opposed to what you normally do?
Yeah, I mean, it's a departure because you're using instruments from all over the world. For me, it's anything that makes noise. And to be able to create something, have a collection of stuff that I've assumed through the years, and to be able to use everything and go in completely different directions, rhythmically as well as tonally, I think is something quite different than just going with rock genre.
Was there a song that really showed that more than others for you?
I think they all did. I think they all did. They all have that touch. I mean, doing stuff that's so unconventional, like playing brushes on a box, for instance, which is, I'll probably do that this weekend. I just got to find the right Budweiser.
What about you, David?
It was a fun experience working with Pat Leonard. He's a really good keyboard programmer, and we got to have some fun together. And really, yesterday I went through the whole record and started playing through it and learning it again, relearning it again. And it's challenging that because they are so different, and your brain after 20 years is so used to playing them one way. It's definitely a challenge as it was going through. You keep going to where your fingers go somewhere, and your mind's like, no, you're not supposed to go there.
Would you use a grand piano on stage this weekend?
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, it's
Very
going to be. It's definitely was a fun process.
John, you could have gone anywhere with an arena football franchise. Coming from Central Jersey, you could have gone. You chose Philadelphia. What was the deciding factor?
The league wanted an expansion franchise here, and there is a team in New York, but they play out on Long Island. So this was something that they wanted, and where we all grew up actually is equidistant between Manhattan and Philadelphia. So you would come here as a youth to go to an Eagles game or see a concert. If this were in Pittsburgh, I wouldn't have been interested, but Philly's a sports crazy town and a football crazy town. You know, I mean, I'm going to either be embraced or thrown from the 700 section. We'll see. You know, I think that Philadelphia wants a winner, but I think if you wear your heart on your sleeve and you're honest about being a fan. Why did I get into this? I didn't get into this because this was what I knew how to do for a living. I get into this because I go into mourning after the Super Bowl. I love football, and there's a lot of guys that relate to that. So Arena has educated not only me in the last year and Richie, but we're finding out what a great game it is and why people love it so much. It's affordable, it's friendly, it's real athletes that are going up to the NFL and getting guys from the NFL all the time. And with all the elements, it made a lot of sense that Philly's the place to be.
Did you play high school?
Until I played in my freshman year, that was the end of it.
Okay.
Speaking of Philly fans, you mentioned, like, what's the difference between what they're going to get at, say, an Eagles game as opposed to a Soul game as far as prices and what they're going to experience once they're at a Soul game?
Well, the thing that's the basis of arena football is it's very fan-friendly. For instance, all our players sign autographs with any kid that comes down onto the field post-game, every game. That's something that my 8-year-old doesn't have access to at an NFL game. The ticket prices start at $10. So the guy that, if he could have even get an Eagle ticket, can't afford 4 Eagle tickets, these kids and go out for a cheap night out. Those are two big elements of it. And it really is rock'em sock'em football. This isn't make-believe. It's not a minor league sport. It's a major league sport on a major network. And the players are going to be a real part of this community. And by developing that personality for them and with them, they're going to be considered major league athletes here in this town. Or at least that's my goal. You know, I can get them in the first time, and then what they do with it is up to them. But it's being really received well by all the media outlets, newspaper, radio, and television. And the tough sportscasters here, for instance, are giving it a shot too. So I think that it makes a lot of sense for this town.
Are you pleased with ticket sales?
Ticket sales are going phenomenally well. I mean, without tooting our own horn, we're third in revenue in the league in 6 weeks. So we're gonna dwarf the whole league very soon. And we're thinking outside the box. Mitchell and Ness are making the uniforms. I didn't go to Nike. I didn't go to Reebok. We went and Mitchell and Ness, a Philadelphia company that you guys are all familiar with, is really known for their vintage stuff and why every kid that's on VH1 and MTV and the other pro athletes all wear Mitchell and Ness stuff. This is going to be their first original uniform. And we chose them. They chose us. So I think it's going to be a great partnership. And I was very specific to it being from Philadelphia. Again, gives the community something to embrace.
Jeremiah, do you ever get intimidated by these big football players walking around all the time?
Yeah, we know where to draw the line, you know. I mean, Craig and I, because we're in it every day, we know that we leave the football operations to the football guys and their hire and their staffs and the players. And it's a lot of fun when you're just a fan and you get to have this as part of your life. You know, we're going to care a lot about it.
John, as owner of the Soul, fan of the Giants, are you in a bad position as the Giants play the Eagles?
I won't be in Philadelphia this Sunday. You know, but then again, I mean, those miserable, rotten, lousy Giants, they're just aging me. And they really are. And you know what? It would have been hypocritical of me to come down here and say I'm not a Giants fan. I'm a Giants fanatic. You know, I love my Giants, and they're miserable. And they're just playing so poorly. And the Eagles are playing great, and God bless them. One thing that we in Central Jersey have in common with the folks here in Philly is we both hate Dallas. You know, and that's really all that matters. We've never wished any ill will on the Eagles or the Eagle fans as Giant fans, because being equidistant, like I said, between New York and Philly, our papers cover the Eagles as much as they do the Jets and the Giants.
John, getting back to the CD, what song do you feel went through the greatest metamorphosis?
Geez, I don't know.
They all did.
They really did. I
Everything
mean,
was really, we turned everything on its head, basically.
It's
Changed
My
keys.
Life and Lay Your Hands on Me, It's My Life are two dramatically different ones in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But all of them have new suits of clothes. You know, I think that they're all incredibly different. That was the goal with this thing. You know, artists have obligations to their record companies, and record companies are looking for any way to sell product these days. So they put out these greatest hits, and they stick a cover song on the end of it, or they write a song that they had in their closet and they stick it on it. And we really went beyond the call of duty here to create something for our fan base, as well as those new fans who might come along, and recreate something in this genre for them specifically. You know, I guess it's value, if you will.
Guys, hi, Dante Del Vecchio from the Times Herald here in Norristown. You know, you have, as I said before, tons of fans outside. You know, the football team, everything going on. When is the success, you know, the pinnacle of all this most apparent for you guys?
Man, every day's a roller coaster ride, so you gotta take the ups with the downs, but it's pretty good being us, you know? It doesn't suck. It's good work if you can get it, you know? Personally, for me, I've never been the kind of guy that sits around and harps on the accolades. You know, to me, it's getting through every day and looking forward to tomorrow and creating something else.
Work in progress.
You know, everything's just, there's no biographies been written yet. And the reason is it's, 20 years young. It's still got another 20 to go.
No epitaph either.
No.
Not yet, hopefully.
No.
John, your radio ads are very funny for the Philadelphia Soul, where you talk to the girls and then Ron Jaworski talks to the boys. Can you tell us about that, or the idea behind it?
You know, it was cute because we knew we wanted to take advantage of this situation here and the record coming out, as well as introducing the armchair quarterback to what arena football is, and Ron Jaworski is the president of the team and obviously a Philadelphia icon. The ad agency, that another Philadelphia group, the Brownstein Group, came up with the creative, and unfortunately we weren't even in the same room to record the commercial. I was in New York, Ronnie was at NFL Films, and the ad agents were here in Philly. But thanks to the beautiful science of the ISDN lines, we have a great campaign out there.
Two more questions. Did you ever catch Ron Jaworski just rocking out to Living on the Floor?
No, I haven't seen Jaws do that. He didn't come to the Veterans Stadium show, but he is coming down to Borgata, so he will have his chance.
John, you guys put this record together so quickly. If you had some more time to work on it, what other projects would you like to done with it?
We would have probably done another dozen songs. You know, the reason why these 12 are there is those are the only 12 we had time to record. You know, we had a very simple schedule. It was 10 days in Jersey and 13 days in LA. End of story. Mixed, mastered, finished. And at the end of 10 days, we just said, oh, well, you know, there's other big hit songs, number one songs that didn't make this record, or there's album tracks that initially we thought, oh, we're going to reinvent these and give them in that day in the sun. But time was what of the essence with this project.
Would you like to continue your sportscasting career? Saw you the other night on TV.
Man, I gotta tell you, that was pressure. I had no idea what I was walking into, and I got there, and they're like, 3-2, here's the copy. I went, what? I thought I was going to talk about the soul, you know, and I really got bamboozled there by Vi. It worked out, fortunately.
Thank you.
You know, obviously going to Phillies games and things like that. So, I mean, it's a drag that they're tearing it down. But we have a kind of a repertoire for after we play a place, they tear it down. We played like 3 nights at Wembley Stadium in London, and the next thing you know, it was gone. And we just did 92,000 people at Hyde Park because there was no stadium left to play in England. So what are we going to do? But you know what? We're just happy to be here in Philadelphia. Even as a kid, before I was in Bon Jovi, I'd come here and I'd play the clubs, and it was always such a great environment, you know. And we went from playing the clubs to playing the vet last year. So, you know, hopefully that's going to continue. And now, you know, we own a football team, so it's a lot of fun.
Richie, how do you think this is going to appeal to a college crowd?
You know, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how that plays out and how that's going to be marketed. I have no plan in my head yet, but I think like the Philly Soul, I mean, that's got to be the coolest name ever in football. What are we going to do, call the name of the Bobcats or something? Let's name the team about another animal.
Did you come up with that name?
No, actually John did. Oh, and it just struck a note because obviously the correlation between music and what's happening with football and stuff like that. I mean, you think about it. I thought about it today actually. I don't know if you guys remember the Dire Straits video that had the NFL Films thing, and we were involved with the NFL after 9/11, and Paul Tagliabue was very nice to us and said, well, you guys got to get in here and do this, and we went, yeah. So it was like, thank you, Uncle Paul. Thank you. He was very good to us, and we became like the NFL poster boys for last year. But you only can do that so long.
You guys really did for a while there.
Yeah, no, they really took care of us. I mean, we the week after 9/11, we played in the Firehouse and opened up the NFL season. Remember when they kind of laid it back about a week after 9/11 happened? And Paul asked us to do that, and there wasn't a dry eye in the place. I mean, that was a very, very emotional moment. And then after that, we opened up the NFL season, and we played the Super Bowl after that. So, we're big sports fans.
Richie, are you an arena football fan, though? It's one thing to be a fan.
Oh, man, let me tell you something. When you go see this game, if you dig football or if you dig athletics in general, it's such a quick game. It's such a fast game. There's so many attributes to it. I think that it's a family game. It's affordable. I think, my brother-in-law has 20 season tickets to the Avengers. So that's how I got turned on to it. And, Casey Wasserman, who is the commissioner of expansion in this league, is a friend of mine. He owns the Avengers, so we'll probably be rivals together. That's going to be, So that's kind of like how we started to talk about it and get into it. And then, obviously, David Baker and the commissioner of the AFL, we started to talk, and then we made the deal, and that's the way it came down.
When things aren't going well with sports teams in general, fans usually attack the ownership. But do you think that would never happen with you guys just because?
I mean, look, it's going to take us a while to get I think that the infrastructure that we've created already is tremendous with Coach Triggs and David Baker and everybody we got going on, our GM and the whole facility. The AFL is a lot different than the NFL. It's a whole different game, so now we have to get players. And I think if we win here in Philly, I think it's going to be a great thing for the community. We're going to be involved in community service, so we're talking about getting our players involved in a lot of community service and stuff like that. And I think that's a very, very important thing because you know what, in professional sports nowadays, there's not a lot of accessible heroes. It seems that they're like way up there someplace, and you can't find them. And everybody's talking about salaries and stuff like that. In the AFL, that's not what it's about. It's about people playing the game. The one bad thing is that as soon as you get a guy that does really good, the NFL steals him. But what are you going to do? That's the way it goes.
Speaking of rivalries, you were talking about rivals. Would you like to see the Dallas Desperados come in for your first opponent on February 8th, being the Eagles Cowboys?
We got to get our team together and see what's up. Right now, we got one guy. So that's what we got to do. We have to wait for the draft to come around, and there's a whole different draft system that happens in the AFL, and we're very involved with seeing what's going on in this league. We're just excited to be here.
Everybody's here obviously because of you guys and the Bon Jovi name and stuff, and obviously they're all thinking, hey, you guys are going to sing the anthem every game. There's going to be a post-game concert. How involved is the band actually going to be, at least initially, in performance and playing?
Oh, are you kidding me? We'll be selling hot dogs. We'll be out.
Are you guys
selling hot dogs.
Are you going to
have this thing to happen? We're really dedicated for the whole thing to go down.
Your crew had on Philly Soul t-shirts at the Philly concert.
Thank you, Richie. Appreciate time.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
How long was this under wraps for before you guys made it public?
We've been trying to put this together for a long time, and obviously dealing with the league and the commissioner and everything like that. It's an ongoing process, and there comes a point where you have to think about not only the love of the game, but also the business part of the game and what it's going to do to, taking time away from your career, taking time away from your family, and how much you love it and how you want to deal with it. And that, so all of that became a part of it.
Sure, well, it's going to be great. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
When did you decide that you wanted to buy a football team?
Well, we spent too much time on planes together. I think what happens when you tour the world as much as we did, and for 20 years, you just kind of come up with cockamamie business ideas, but this is something that we love. We're huge football fans, and it just seemed to be something that's kind of, it was destiny for us, and let's see how far it goes.
So you're going to have cheerleaders, and when are the sign-ups?
You want to try out?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, I think we're going to have two sets of cheerleaders. We're going to have like a Foxy set, and we're going to have the kids. We're going to have the little girls, like my daughter and stuff like that.
My daughter's cheerleader too.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at. I think the great thing about arena football, like I said, it is very affordable, and I think that it's like people can take their families to the game and not like have to spend like, if you go to an NFL game now, you're going to spend like, $300-400. That's not going to be what it is here.
Yeah, and you're going to help the community also.
Yeah, that's a very important part of what we're doing. We're trying to do an outreach program to the community, and that's just a way of us giving back. And I think that's a part of, the NFL does it in a United Way and all that stuff. And this is us, this is local to us. I mean, we lived in Philly. We've made records here, and we've lived here. So we feel like it's not like we're not carpet bagging. You know what I mean?
Thanks so much.
John, how is this league, or how is the team here in Philadelphia going to boost the entire league?
Well, Katie, what we have to offer the league is a whole different viewpoint. They've never had all you guys around to talk to. They've never had Access Hollywood and ET and Rolling Stone and People Magazine and those kinds of things that we're bringing to it. Plus, we're bringing a whole other aspect of marketing and accessibility that they hadn't had before, that we're sort of opening up doors for them and teaching them about. So I'm going to be learning their business, and I'm going to trust the on-field business of the coach and the GM. But behind the scenes, when you have a rock band that's been successful for 20 years, it's partially luck and a lot of hard work. And so that's what we're going to show the league.
Did you pick the players yet?
No, we have only one player thus far by the name of Dwayne Missouri, who we just got from John Elway's team, the Colorado Crush. But we have an expansion draft in mid-October, and then we will fill in our roster after that.
John, you guys were at the concert back in July. All your crew had Philly Soul shirts on.
Yes, they did.
So how long was this under wraps for, signed, sealed?
Quite a while, actually. But in order to present it in the right light, I wanted to have a head coach. I wanted to have a GM. I wanted to make sure that Richie and Heather could fly in. I wanted to make sure that our lease deal was done here in the building, that we had the logo and the colors picked. There was a lot of homework that went into this for the last 9 months. Why I convinced them to use the name Philadelphia Soul is so that we can be an independent team, a standalone team, so we weren't just another aggressive animal, the Cubs, the Bears, the Bulls, the Lions, the Tigers. My high school team where I live is the Eagles. The next door Pop Warner team is the Bucks, and my kids' team is the Chargers. We wanted to have something that was going to be something that Philly could be proud of, and the musical association is obvious, and we want to make our team unique.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where did your love of football that it started for you?
I think it was a chance for my dad to bond with me as a kid. It was something that we had in common right from an early age, and my love for football has stayed pure throughout the years. I really, in all honesty, I follow baseball, basketball, football when it comes to series time, but I've only ever loved football. And I truly go into mourning when it's over. At post-Super Bowl, I get a big black cloud. And so for me, it was all about football. And when this opportunity came up, and I saw, most importantly, the affordability, the accessibility, to me, those two things were really important. Now, if we could put a good product on the field, I'm going to make sure that it's viable off the field. And then we'll take it from there. So if the town will just give us a chance, that's all I ask. Come and see the game. I think you'll like it.
About the product, John, how fortunate do you feel to have experience in Michael Trigg and Joe Hennessy in the front office?
Well, when they put together a wish list, I interviewed their juniors, the guys under them at both of those franchises, really never thinking I could get them. We were told, good luck, it's the best coach, the best GM. Joe Hennessy called me in Indiana while we were there this summer touring, and he said, I hear that you've interviewed my assistant. I'd like to talk to you. And I honestly, blatantly said to him, do you just want to come and meet me, or are you serious about this? He says, I'd like to hear what your ideas are. When I pitched him on it, when I pitched Michael on it, it's a huge chore for those guys because they've done it. We're eager because I've never done it, so obviously I'm excited every day. For me to do 10 hours of press for the band, you can forget about it. But for me to sit out here since 5 o'clock in the morning talking up something I'm genuinely excited about is great. So for Mike and to Joe to give Craig and I their faith, we're going to give them the ammunition they need, and then when they put a winner on the field, the city, I hope, will embrace it. That's all I ask for.
So when did you decide to buy this football team?
February, when I went to see the shrink, and he said, I don't think anything's going to help you at this point other than buying your own team. So I'm too old to play quarterback. I bought one.
So you get successful. Any chance you guys might be moving to Philly?
I don't think I'll be moving. The bank still has too many mortgage payments on the house in Jersey. So.
Did you ever play, John?
Yeah, sure. Pop Warner up to my freshman year in high school. Then I was too smart. I got out.
Do you think the affordability and accessibility of this
I hope so. And the families, you know, you could bring a family of 4 for $50 and come and see a great game of football and be a part of something from the ground up. It's not your father's football. We have all the respect in the universe for what the NFL are and what the Eagles are and what Joe Banner has done with the Eagles and Jeff Lurie. But truthfully, we're not that. It's a continuation of that. It's to help the Eagle fan get by the Super Bowl, you know, and to keep it going. I hope that the Eagles will come over here and root for the Soul, because I know the Soul will be over there rooting for the Eagles. All right.
For a Philadelphia team as opposed
I've never, I swear to God, I've gone to Eagle games. I don't want to sound like I'm just kissing up to the Eagles. I have no problem with the Eagles. I rooted for them last year from Japan watching the NFC playoffs. But the only team I really hate in all of football are the Cowboys. I will never root for them. I will never go to their games. I will never wear their jerseys. I don't care if Parcells is now the coach. I checked Jerry Jones to see if he had horns.
What about cheerleaders, John? Any cheerleaders?
Absolutely. The Soulmates are going to be our cheerleaders.
Oh, cool.
And John,
Thanks.
the way you feel at the end of football season is the way we all felt on August 9th this year. It's the way you killed.
Hey, John, I need you for a photo.
Yeah.